Hi, everybody. This is the 1000th video. The 1000th video I've uploaded to YouTube. I gotta tell you, I have been wrestling with what to do, how to make this video extra special. I feel it's a huge milestone. I mean, it's the end of a decade. It's the end of a year. It's 1,000 videos uploaded, over 800 of them, almost 900 are first person interviews of homeless people. Nobody else has done anything even close to this. And above everything, I have to say thank you. Thanks to all of you that have supported Invisible People for the last 11 years. I mean, this past year has been one of our biggest years. We keep going up, 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 up. And that is only because of you. I mean, oh my gosh, I am so grateful. When I look back at how all this started, I was in my boss's office. I had kept getting laid off and I'd get a job, and I'd get laid off and I'd get a job. And it was a pretty dark time. This is the beginning of the '08 recession, yet nobody was talking about the R word yet. My house was going into foreclosure. I had what I thought was a pretty good job. And, fate just has a way of changing everything. I was in my boss's office and he had a coffee table book called Finding Grace. It was a black and white book of photographs of homeless people around America. Really amazing book. And I thought to myself, wow, I could do this with video. Well, he laid me off and I had the time. Actually, that company, I lost my high-end marketing job, and this was a middle-end marketing job, and I kept on crashing and crashing and crashing. I want to tell you that I started Invisible People to, have this impact in ending homelessness. But the truth is, I started Invisible People to give myself purpose to get up in the morning. It was just a really, really dark time. So when I got laid off from that job, they had to lay off 50 people. I was the last one they hired, so the first one laid off in that group of 50. And, I tried everything to get a job. It was just really a dark time, insane. And I one day grabbed a camera and I went out and I started interviewing homeless people. The first person was John, and John would crawl up Hollywood Boulevard. He was missing a leg, and his purpose was he would shine the stars, the brass. That's what gave him purpose. I remember John when I was homeless out on Hollywood Boulevard. Now, at the time, I couldn't edit the videos. And I'm a television producer by trade. So videos need B-roll, videos need graphics, videos need music, because that's what TV is. That's what video production is. It has to be produced. But the laptop I had couldn't edit videos. I almost didn't do Invisible People. In fact, for a week, was looking at this dinky laptop saying, oh my gosh, I can't edit videos. This is a dumb idea. And then I realized, you know what? I'm just going to go do it. And I said to myself, nobody's going to watch this stuff. I'm just going to go do it. So here I am, and we're out on Hollywood Boulevard. John's talking to me, and I can't edit the videos. And I mean, that for somebody who's used to video production in itself is pretty scary. But I was also crashing back into homelessness myself. And here I am empathizing with other homeless people. Oh my gosh, it was a very interesting time. So I start recording, and John starts talking, and all of a sudden he moves. Now, if I was editing the videos, that wouldn't be a big deal. I would just cut out the section and, continue. But I can't edit the videos. I didn't know what to do, so I moved. John moved, I moved. And that moment was really instrumental because I posted the video, and that was the beginning of Invisible People. Now, the key nuggets here are look at the solution, not the problem. I was looking at the problem. Once I looked at a solution, I went and figured out a way to do it. Even though I couldn't edit the video, I figured out this way of uploading unedited, raw, and unfiltered, which was the magic. Also, authenticity has replaced production value. How can I say this? The nonprofit world, and there's nothing wrong with this. In fact, I'm still a television producer, and if how I pay myself is I still work clients and I still produce videos. I still freelance, and there's a place for produced videos. But what this showed was that authenticity has replaced production value. And interesting enough, I've been wrestling with this video. I have been trying to, I wrote a couple of scripts. I was looking for topics and B-roll. I was downloading photos. I wanted to make this really produced production because it's video. I'm a broadcast dinosaur, and I'm still, clinging to the old ways. Well, my friend Chris Brogan said, just hit record. So that's what I'm doing. I hit record, thought we'd have a little chat. Invisible People, over the last 10 years, there's been miracle upon miracle upon miracle, far too many to really, we could be here forever just talking about all the ways Invisible People has helped homeless people, has helped house people, has educated the public, has really taught the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector. I was once with Governor Cuomo's people, and the guy says, oh my, you're Mark Horvath, you're Invisible People. I modeled some of our strategy off what you do. I'm honored. I'm honored that we do all this cool stuff that nobody has ever done before. And that's kind of the Invisible People style that has developed, which is authenticity, raw, unfiltered, and, take risks, take challenges. And, just because you don't have money doesn't mean that you shouldn't take action. Money has never stopped me. We don't get a lot of money in Invisible People. But money slows us down. I mean, I currently am not paid, and I haven't been paid for 10 years. Hopefully that will change, because we need to be able to scale our impact. Anyways, here I'm back in Los Angeles. I just recorded John. I recorded a couple of other interviews. I started going down to Santa Monica. And at the same time, I got a temporary job at the Los Angeles Winter Shelter. So it was real interesting, because this is my first time working in the homeless sector. Now, I had been homeless. I lived homeless on the streets of Los Angeles. I lived in a faith-based homeless shelter for a long period of time. I went and worked ministry, and we would, do ministry to homeless people. But this was the first time that I was doing homeless services, which means 40 hours, 50 hours a week. Your job is to help people. You're not paid a lot. The gig is emotionally tiring. It's emotionally exhausting. But I learned so much. And I got to tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with the winter shelters. The first year I worked the winter shelter, my job was to man a little area in a parking lot. I kid you not. And at this particular time, one of the armories where they have the winter shelters was closed, so they had to bus people to a neighboring town. Now, you had a couple of benches and a tent. Took me a month to argue the case to get a porta potty there. You're not supposed to smoke. My job was to keep 150 homeless people from smoking. Yeah, that's, oh my gosh. Anyways, that group of homeless people became family to me. It was my first introduction into really life on the streets other than my own homelessness. And it was my first introduction to how homeless services is broken. And it was also 10 years ago when this social media, we were social media explorers. People like to say social media guru or social media, influencers. The people today don't even know the influencers of 5-6 years ago. We paved the way, and I wasn't a big influencer, but I can't say I was the first person that was using Twitter and social media to tell the story of homelessness, but I was doing it in a way that I called reality twittering, or bringing people along with me. And my vision was to give you, the viewer, the reader, the person looking at the tweet or the Facebook post, kind of a glimpse into what homelessness was really like. I was also, at the time, going down to Santa Monica. I was scared at Skid Row at the time. I'm not anymore. And I would go down to Santa Monica and I would interview people and I would post it on Invisible People. And oh my gosh, there's times I didn't know where rent was coming from. Complete strangers paid my rent. It was unbelievable. Then I think the big break was, if you want to call it a big break, I was laid off from the winter shelter. And I was looking for work. I'm a pretty assertive person. So if I'm going to do something, I give it my all. And I'm looking, I'm applying. Now the recession is in full swing. You know, finding a job was just crazy. I thought moving back to Hollywood, I would be able to get a job on the set, but also, you know, the entertainment industry was getting hit hard. And here I am unemployed, and I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. I have $300 to my name, literally. And I'm watching Oprah went into the tent cities in Sacramento. And it was really, you know, I was watching the TV, and I think it wasn't, I think the producers behind Oprah's show could have been more responsible, because here Oprah does the show of the tent cities in Sacramento, and it just becomes a madhouse. You got CNN and MSNBC and Fox and everybody just going in, and it really forced the mayor, because now, I mean, criminalization is everywhere, but all of a sudden, the mayor of Sacramento and the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, at the time was really, you know, I don't want to say embarrassed, but maybe that's the word, that all of a sudden, you know, this homelessness in Sacramento was getting national attention. And so they went and bulldozed, literally, you know, they just, you know, cleaned up, swept up the encampments. And I'm watching the TV and I'm saying, you know what? Nobody's telling homeless people's story. Nobody's giving them the mic. Nobody's letting them share the stories about how they're being displaced and how it's destroying their lives, and that they're just trying to survive. So the smart person would have just kept on looking for work. Now, my rent was $1,200 in Hollywood. That's actually cheap. I didn't live in the greatest neighborhood. But I only had $300. The smartest person would have kept on looking for work. But, and I'm not spooky here, but so there was a homeless shelter in San Luis Obispo that it was a day center that called me or contacted me. They might have tweeted. I forgot how they made contact. But they said, if you come visit, we'll pay for your gas and give you a night hotel stay. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, let me think about that. And then there was a ministry up in Concord, California, which is right next door to Sacramento. They contacted me and they said, hey, if you come speak at our group, they had like an adult ministry group, then we'll pay for gas and take you out to eat. So I'm looking at a map and I'm going, this gets me up to Sacramento. What if I took my $300 and got a hotel stay and went up to Sacramento to help share the story of homelessness? And it was a huge risk, but I did it. And I gotta tell you, I mean, going to the Prada Day Center, which was the homeless service in San Luis Obispo, was my first time connecting with homeless families in a real significant way. And it was powerful. It changed me. Then I went up and I spoke to the group about homelessness, and I went over to Sacramento. And I remember this like it was yesterday, because this is the first time I've traveled. And to this day, I use that same model where somebody contacts me, they're going to pay 2/3 or maybe all of the travel. And I use that to be able to fund how I get from A to B to be able to tell these stories. So I'm up in Sacramento and I go out and there's kind of like a river trail. And there's homeless people on bikes just going back and forth and back and forth. And it was like this subculture. I'd never seen anything like it before. Now, there's two different stories. The city says there were this many people, and the homeless community says there was this many people. And The truth is probably in the middle. I'm guessing around 400 people that were displaced. They're now out in the woods. And they hated everybody with a camera. They hated, I don't blame them, because now after Oprah, you had CNN and all these other people. So here I go walking out into the woods on these trails in a city I've never been to before. I have a camera in my hand. I'm now the enemy. I remember, and I tweet, I left my car at the end of this field. And I said, if I get in trouble, nobody's ever going to be able to find me. They're not. And I went off in that trail and I started talking to homeless people. And many of them, were very cautious because I did have a camera. This is the same as I could walk into the nicest restaurant with a camera and half the people would be upset and angry and run from the camera, and so half the people would say, I want to be on TV. Has nothing to do with homelessness. We're human. We either run from cameras or we run to cameras. I ended up interviewing several people, and a couple years prior to that, as a television producer, I had traveled to Sudan, Africa, which also changed me. I were seeing these images and meeting people that is very similar to what I saw and experienced in the people I met in Sudan, Africa. And it changed me. It was mind-blowing. And, it was also very scary, not just because I'm out in the field all by myself with a camera. It's also because when I left, I was broke. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just was moving forward. And as I'm doing this incremental tweeting, live tweeting, people were following. And they started messaging me and started communicating and saying, hey, man, we love what you're doing. Keep going. We love what you're doing. Keep going. How can we support you? How can we help you to keep doing this? And it was amazing because when I got back to Los Angeles, I didn't have money for food. I didn't have money for utilities. I didn't have money for anything, but I had rent money. People had given me, they knew of my situation and were covering my rent. So from that point on, I knew I had to travel, and I knew that as long as I move forward and help people, I'd be okay. That has been kind of scary. I think last year, or this year, 2019, I think I might have grossed $6,000 total. I'm lucky that I'm here at my mom's house as long as they allow me to live here. There's, they might have to sell the house for mom's health care. We don't know yet. But my point is that for the last bunch of years, now I did work as a chief marketing officer and make a bunch of money, which I saved up, and I did I will freelance and do consulting work to help pay for my own food and different things. But for the most part, it's just been an insane, wonderful ride of helping people, fighting homelessness, and innovative storytelling and marketing. I mean, if you look at everything we've done, from the first person raw unedited stories that we started uploading 11 years ago to the VR 180 project we just did with YouTube and the VR movie we're doing with Oculus. And, everything we do is cutting edge. And that is amazing. I will continue the story of what happened next because it's important, but I also have to bring in 2019. I mean, this year, thanks to a very generous donor, some foundation grants outside of the homeless services sector, a foundation grant, and some corporate gifts, I was able to rebrand Invisible People. And why that's important is because I knew, everything changes. And we've been around 10 years. So the work is getting more and more important. I mean, it's crucial right now. The harmful narrative surrounding homelessness of, homeless people are lazy, it's their fault, they're all drug addicts, they're mental illness, let's force them into shelter. That narrative is harmful and it's growing. And we're the only national education-based nonprofit working to end homelessness. We're it. And we don't even have any paid staff. I ran a report. We reached 1.3 million people on social media this year. That doesn't include the 30 million views. I was just at YouTube and they ran a report for me. In the last 90 days, we had 109 million impressions. That means our videos were served to 109 million people, and we had 10 million views in the last 90 days. That's unbelievable. But, here's the thing. 2019 was so amazing because we rebranded Invisible People. We, new logo and all that, but we created a space online for young adults to learn about homelessness. Why that's important is because, I get emails all the time, and when I can, I'll Skype in or I'll answer questions from, elementary school, high school, college age, doing a project on homelessness. Until we created this, until you helped Invisible People create this, a kid looking for information on homelessness either had to download a 49-page academic PDF and weed through all this jargon, or they landed on a page that was spun for fundraising. So on Invisible People, click on Learn More, and it's easy to digest, segments to educate. It's targeted to young adults, but you educate anybody on homelessness. It's actually really brilliant. Then, it was just an idea because I knew we had to expand. I knew to scale Invisible People. We are a 501c3. There's a board of directors. We are a nonprofit, but we have to get bigger than me. And I thought journalism would be a great inbound strategy. So, there's a lot of talk about solutions journalism. Solutions journalism is really branded content. It's advertising. And I didn't want to do that. So the strategy behind our journalism is pretty neat because right now we have 14 writers. 6 of them are currently homeless. 5 of them are formerly homeless. All of them are awesome. And they're all paid. I'm not paid. We got to change that. But they're all paid. I didn't quite see... I knew journalism was the right direction as part of our 3 pillars, if you want to say, which is, storytelling, education, journalism, and there's a 4th, which is advocacy. But I didn't really see us hiring homeless writers. And that's happening. And in 2020, we hope to hire more. It's the real authentic story of homelessness. What we've known for in video, now we're doing journalism. And all our writers, housed or unhoused, are paid the same. That's the way it should be. You know, so often homeless people, when they rise up in an organization, are paid less because they were once homeless, right? It's just the way it is. It's happened to me. It's happened to most every formerly homeless person who's rose up through a nonprofit. So we pay homeless people and housed people the exact same bit of money. So our journalism right now, over 155,000 readers a month on Apple News, and we're going to be on Google News soon. It's growing. It's growing significantly. Then we also added an advocacy platform for you to contact your legislators. And I got to say, we haven't had the funding or the bandwidth to really leverage this, but we will in 2020. So there's this brand new Invisible People. We have a Learn More section where you can learn more about homelessness. We have writers writing daily content, daily, original, on homelessness. We still have the stories, and we have advocacy where you can contact your legislators. And I just got back from Los Angeles where we shot 5 mini documentaries. One of my goals, which you're going to see really happen big time in 2020, was because we're independent, we don't get government funding, and we're not funded by any foundation in the homeless services sector. That allows us to be honest. I mean, when you're getting money from somebody, depends on the organization, but they don't normally allow open communication. I'm just being real. So by us not getting funding from philanthropy in the homeless services sector, that has turned out to a benefit. Our power is that we're independent. So we're going to produce, one of my visions, we're starting already, is to produce these mini documentaries around the country that nonprofits, small nonprofits, either don't have the money to produce good videos on, or the big nonprofits either won't tell the story or they do it not very good, and we're going to make that happen. It is going to be amazing in 2020. It is, the first one should upload in January, maybe February, and you're going to be blown away. You're going to, oh my gosh, they're going to be so cool. And hopefully we're going to expand and continue doing these mini documentaries around the country and posting them. And thanks to you guys, I mean, gosh, we just hit 330,000 subs on YouTube. So one of the mistakes that I made is I never saw that there would be a community around homelessness. I didn't see you guys. I'm sorry. We were on YouTube for 10 years, and I didn't think people would rally behind homelessness. I mean, people don't say, honey, let's go home and watch a homeless video. They watch Disney or, PewDiePie or something. They don't watch homelessness. I was wrong. You guys are there, and this community is building, and I'm so grateful. It's amazing. Now let's go back to Sacramento. I, at the time, was using an app called Whirl. Now, Whirl was like a Snapchat with Foursquare combined. I don't even know if any of you even remember Foursquare. I mean, I think it's still active, but not many people. Well, I shouldn't say not many people. I haven't used it in a while. But Whirl was a location-based app where you could use photos and it would track where you're going. And I was using Whirl to tell my story as I was traveling, because here Invisible People is telling the homeless people's story, which is the most important. And I was using this app, Whirl, to share my story telling the homeless people's story. And the marketing manager, Heather Meeker, might have been director of marketing or of Whirl, noticed, and she contacted me. And she said, and here I am unemployed, eating dollar pizzas, not knowing where rent's going to come from. It was a really scary time. And she says, could we fly you up to Seattle so you could meet with our developers and show them how you use our app? I was like, yeah, of course. And it was a spiritual moment for me. It was like I was seeing this, keep going, keep going, keep going. You're on to something. And having this app, this startup, this tech startup, pay attention to what I was doing to help homeless people was brilliant. It was amazing. So Whirl doesn't even exist anymore. Whirl had a tweet up. You guys ever hear of a tweet up? And Whirl had this tweet up in their lobby. Tweet ups don't even exist, do they? So they're having this tweet up, and Heather said to me, Chris Pirillo's going to be here, and Chris Pirillo's going to be he's a big deal. And Chris Pirillo is a big deal, but I didn't know who he was at the time. And so, I did my thing, talked to everybody. Chris was there. He was kind of in the back. After the event, Chris came up to me, and right at that time, iPhone with videos just came out. And Chris came up to me afterwards, and he says, what phone do you have? And I showed him, and he says, you need one of the iPhones with videos. And he asked for my address, and he bought me a new iPhone with video. I mean, I was blown away. And then he said, I want you to come speak at our conference, Gnomedex. I didn't know what a Gnomedex is. Gnomedex is it's another thing that doesn't exist anymore. It's a very eclectic tech conference. It was amazing. It was a pinnacle. All these were very pinnacle moments in the evolution of invisible people. So now, I go back to Los Angeles. I'm laid off again. I by this time, I'll tell you the story. We're rambling here. We're buds, right? So I was laid off. There was a movie company that was going to wrap an RV and then have me drive around the country. And it was going to be a road trip. It was going to be really cool, and they were going to fund it. So I started making dates around the country and, speaking dates or different, meetings and different things. And the movie company calls me, and they said, the recession is getting bad. We lost our funding. We're not going to be able to wrap this RV and send you around the country. So now I keeping my word, it's really important to me to keep my word. So I was pretty much crushed because I had said yes to these speaking arrangements and touring tent cities and different things around the country. And I didn't know what to do. And then I saw that Scott Monty, who was the social media person at Ford Motor Company, was doing a little campaign with a honeymoon couple, and they were doing a road trip. So I connected with Scott, and I said, you know what? If you lend me a car, just lend me a car. I'll pay for the gas. I'll clean it. I'll do the oil changes. You just lend me a car, and I'll help you sell more Fords, And Scott did, which is crazy. I mean, my house is going into foreclosure. I probably had 200, maybe 300 Twitter followers at the time. I'm unemployed. I mean, why would the Ford Motor Company lend me a vehicle? You know, and I knew it was a big risk on their part. I love the arrangement. I have to say, I remember this, and here's a tip for anybody that's looking for brand sponsorships. I remember asking Scott, I said, Scott, what if I don't like the gas mileage? Because I thought this is my first brand sponsorship in a way, and I thought, oh my gosh, how would, what do you want me to say online as I'm driving your car? And I said, well, what do you want me to say? And Scott said, say whatever comes to mind. And I said, what if I don't like the gas mileage? And Scott said, then share it. And I was like, well, this is Ford Motor Company. They want me to be honest. And I mean, if I'm going to get in a brand relationship, it has to be honest. What was amazing about that is Ford went and picked up my RSS feed from YouTube, and Flickr was big at the time. So when I uploaded a video, either from my laptop or my phone, or put a photo up on Flickr from my phone, it would go to the Ford Motor Company website. Nobody's done anything like that. It was huge. It was amazing. So I got to tell you, I took off around the country, and I didn't know if I was going to get back. I really didn't, because there was not enough money. But I would go to a city and somebody would slip me a $100 bill or whatever. Now, remember Chris Perillo said, I want you to speak at Nomedex? So Chris had arranged, I was driving around the country and I parked in Greensboro, North Carolina, and flew to Seattle. And oh my gosh, what was amazing, and this was documented by CNN. What was amazing is there was a friend of mine who I had interviewed at a homeless shelter, Nicholsville. And I try to always, when I can, invite a homeless person to speak with me. I'm formerly homeless. I'm not an expert. Homeless people are the experts. So I asked him to take the stage with me. And he wore a suit on his own. And, if you're an old dinosaur like I am, you remember the fail whale. I don't think people now even know what the fail whale was. Twitter was going down all the time. And I saw Guy Kawasaki once share at the end of his talk, he tweet out to everybody to retweet. And I thought that was neat. So I'm going to send out a link of this video of this homeless person speaking on stage to everybody. And at the end, but I didn't know if Twitter was going to go down. I lost sleep worrying about it. And it, took the stage with me. I sent out, told everybody, pulled out my phone. Here's the tweet. I'm going to send it. Please retweet it. It trended on Twitter. The word homeless trended on Twitter. At the time, iPhone trends on Twitter. Steve Jobs trends on Twitter. Michael Jackson trends on Twitter. Not homeless. And CNN even documented it. It was amazing. And then they passed a hat. And I didn't see them pass a hat. And they raised money, which we ended up giving to the tents community where they could pay for their porta potties and trash pickup. It was just amazing. But there was people. There was Jeff Pulver and Chris Brogan and Liz Strauss. And I can just go on and on of these amazing people that were at Nomedex and was connected to invisible people, was connected to me, and then they were connected to homelessness in a way they've never been connected before. And that was it. Then they all start talking about invisible people. They all start sharing about it. Jeff Pulver would have me speak at his conferences, 140 conference with great community. He would allow me to bring homeless people on stage. Chris Brogan actually went and shot. He's the first influencer to actually go and shoot an Invisible People video. He was walking through Memphis, saw a homeless man, and shot a video asking him questions like I do. Anyways, I can go on and on and on and on, but I will tell you, I mean, this is probably way too long, but it's our 1,000th video together, the end of a decade, the end of a year, and I just wanted to have a talk with you. And in true Invisible People fashion, it's raw, it's unedited, it is as it is. A lot of people, I should say not a lot. A few people don't like the 3 wishes question. Most people do. When I first started Invisible People, I didn't do it all the time. I didn't. And where I came up with the 3 wishes was, I'm a TV producer by trade. And if an interview was going sour, I would ask somebody, what are your 3 wishes? And more often than not, it would distract them and we'd get back on track. So I would do that every now and then with Invisible People, but I didn't do it all the time. And then I was speaking in Arkansas, which was a miracle night. It really was a miracle night. It was an outdoor amphitheater, and they had, it was at the college. The mayor was in the audience. And they had advertised throughout the town homeless advocates speaking. So there was a group of homeless people there. And after my talk, we were doing the questions and answers, and they were asking questions. Now, I knew they were asking out of their hurt, but it was awkward, and I had a choice. I could have called security and had them removed, or I could embrace it. And so what I did was I invited them down and interviewed them live in front of the town. I mean, the mayor's there, the mayor's people's there, right? All the VIPs and town people and college people, they're in attendance. And it was powerful. It was so powerful. The mayor actually went and started a housing program. There is a farmer that donated 40 acres of land to the community to be used to feeding the public, that has grown into this even bigger farm and, community thing where homeless youth in the summer go and work on the farm. Just amazing. But unbeknownst to me, at the end of me interviewing the homeless people live and the end of me talking, I give the organizer, his name is Mike, I give him the microphone back. And I'm about walked away, and he says, no, stay. I have a gift for you. And I didn't see it coming. I didn't see them doing it ahead of time. But all the people in the audience had 3x5 cards, and they had filled out in advance what their 3 wishes were. Oh my gosh. So here's hundreds of people sharing their 3 wishes on not 3x5 cards, but, white poster board cards. And it was powerful. And that's when I started saying the 3 wishes. It was really, really showed me how most people, some people don't like it. You can't please everybody. And I understand the people's reasons that don't, and I consider it. And in fact, recently there was some issues that I should have been more sensitive, and I probably shouldn't have asked it. So now I don't do it all the time, although most of the time, because the 3 wishes, here you have people sharing about the madness, the crisis, the horrors in their life. And more often than not, when you ask them about their 3 wishes, they talk about helping others. They talk about things that are, so simple, a job, a house, health. It really humanizes it. And the 3 wishes are extremely powerful. Just want to say one more thing, and I'll close this out. I don't even know how long I've been going. The point of this work is to get you guys to do something, the viewers, to take action. So often, individuals, you'll see a video and they'll say, I want to help this person. I want to help this person. I want to help Michelle. I want to help Grim. I want to help Popcorn. I want to help, all the people that you see. And that is amazing. I'm glad the video inspires you to help. Well, those people are in your community. There's 1,000 or more homeless people in your community. Pretty much wherever you live in the United States, Canada, even the UK. Chances are there are homeless people in your community. And I get that one person's story has, inspired you to help them. But the point of our work is for you to go into your community and help the homeless people in your community. How you can end homelessness is, number 1, educate yourself. There's videos on invisiblepeople.tv. There's a learn more section on invisiblepeople.tv. We have the journalism broken down by topic and location on invisiblepeople.tv. It's a great place to learn about homelessness and share with your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your community. And it's going to take all of us to educate the public on homelessness. Then find some place that is ending homelessness. An organization in your community that's ending homelessness, not maintaining homelessness, but ending homelessness. Now, it might be a soup kitchen, but they're connected to people that house people. See, there has to be a path from the park to shelters into housing. If the path stops at shelters, we're just maintaining homelessness. We're not ending it. And we're warehousing people. So find a local organization that is working to end homelessness and do what you can to help them. And let's say you go and you volunteer and there's 20 of you in the kitchen and you all have brooms and it's a bad experience. Go to another organization until you find one that fits you and you fit their culture and it becomes a win-win. When you find that organization that it's a mutually beneficial relationship, it's better for you, it's better for them, you'll stick with it and our homeless friends will be helped. And third, and probably the most important, although it's not real sexy, because it doesn't give this feel-good moment, is we have to advocate for affordable housing. We have to advocate for more shelters, more support services, more mental health services, more addiction services. We have to, pound, get the attention from the politicians. Because the people with the money, they're screaming real loud and putting pressure on politicians. We've got to be screaming louder. And why this is important is, let's say, for me, it's because I have compassion. I want to help people. I think, personally, I don't think there should be poverty in this great country of ours. I think everybody should have health care and everybody should have adequate housing. But that's me. Maybe you're not like me. Well, if we get that person off the streets into housing, it saves your tax dollars. If you don't want homeless encampments, while you're driving to work or on your street, support ending homelessness. I mean, ending homelessness helps you too. This is our 1,000th video. If you've made it this far, leave a comment below. Oh my gosh, I had a bunch of different ideas. I was gonna overlay some B-roll and some different things, but I hit record and here it is. I haven't stopped. Hopefully it's still recording. I'm overwhelmed. This idea that I had that came about from a book in my boss's office, this idea that I had about humanizing homelessness, which I knew was important. I knew it was something that was extremely important, but nobody else was doing. This idea that I had has directly and indirectly helped tens of thousands of homeless people over the last 10 years. I mean, it's hard to even fathom the impact we've had, especially since we don't have much funding. We have had amazing impact. And it's all because of you. Those of you that support us on Patreon, you provide the foundation so that we could grow in 2019. And those of you that are making one-time donations or that are making monthly donations via our website, you're the fuel that keeps us going. Invisible People would not exist without you. This video is really a tribute to you because you made all this impact happen. 2020, it's an election year. Plan right now is I'm going to go drive around the country. It's going to be an amazing year. And I am so honored and grateful that you're all here with me working to change the story of homelessness. Thank you.